Students, now we are going to learn the remaining portions of values and data types. This is part number 2. Now we are going to see what are punctuators. These are special symbols used to separate statements. Okay, when we are writing the statements in a Java programming, we are using some separators, that is the brackets, curly braces, square brackets, semicolon, comma. Okay, data elements or mark blocks in Java and is therefore also called separators. There are 9 punctuators available in Java. They are, see, open bracket and close bracket, open curly braces and close curly braces, square, open square bracket and close square bracket, semicolon, comma. Next is operators. These are special symbols used to evaluate an expression. Okay, the table shows the 37 tokens that are used in Java as operators. That is addition, this is subtraction, division, multiplication, to find the modulus, greater than, less than, equals, double equal, greater than or equal, less than or equal, not equals, and, or, not. This is also logical and, logical or, and logical greater than symbols, then ternary operators or operators plus equals. So there are totally 37 tokens. Tokens means the smaller units that is present in a program, like operators, keywords. Okay, so operators means these are the special symbols used to evaluate an expression. Sometimes if we are going to evaluate some expression inside the program to find the addition of two numbers, multiplication of two numbers, division of two numbers, comparing two values to find the greater than value. Okay, so here we are using these these operators. Next topic is data types. Data type is a way of dictating Java what type of data will a variable hold. If it is an integer variable, then we have to declare the data type as integer. If it is a floating variable, we have to declare the variable as float. Okay, so the data type is the way of dictating Java what type of data will a variable hold. Java data types are two types. First one is primitive, the other name is fundamental or intrinsic data type. Next one is reference, composite or extrinsic data type. First of all, we are going to see what is primitive or fundamental data types. These data types, which form a part of Java, are used to represent basic data values. So this primitive or fundamental data types, this is a part of Java program that represents basic data values. Okay, Java provides 8 different primitive data types. So primitive, there are 8 different types of primitive data types. They are byte, short, integer, int, long, float, double, character, char, and boolean. So if it is a integer data, then you have to give the data type as int. If it is float, then you write float. If it is a character, we write char, char. Okay, so now we are going to see the size of these primitive data types. Byte means 8 bits. Short, the size of short data type is 16 bits. Integer, 32 bits. Long, 64 bits. Float, 32 bits. Double, 64 bits. Character, 16 bits. And boolean, 8 bits. The next one is the reference or composite data type. this reference or composite data types or secondary type of data. It is composed or constructed using primitive data types. Okay, these may be class, array, interface or string. This reference or composite data types we will see the details in the coming lessons. Now we are going to learn about the variables and constants. First of all, we are going to see what is a variable. A variable is a name given to a memory location that can contain a data value. Okay. For example, int a. A is a variable name. This variable is used to store integer value. Any integer value we can store. Okay. So this is the name of the memory location to store the integer value. So in the memory location A, we are able to store any different type of integer values. Okay. Then constant. A constant in Java is used to assign an exact and unchanging value to a variable. For example, float A. So A is a memory location. In this memory location we are able to store the value with the decimal. We are able to store the decimal values. Okay. For example, A equal to 45.2. Already the memory location A hold the value 45.2. So this is the constant value. We can't able to store some other values for this variable A. A is having the fixed value 45.2. So it is called as a constant. Here in variable, int A means we are able to store any integer value in the memory location A. Here it is a floating value. This A variable is a floating value, and we also assigned the value of A as 45.2. We cannot able to change the value of A. Okay, so this is the fixed value, and so it is called as a constant. Next is type conversion. In a mathematical expression, the conversion of data type of the resulting value from one type to another means if it is an integer value, we are going to convert this integer value into float. If it is a float value, we are going to convert into integer. So in a mathematical expression, the conversion of data type of the resulting value from one type to another is called type conversion. The resultant data type of an expression can be categorized into two segments. First one is implicit type conversion and next one is explicit type conversion. First one is implicit type of conversion. Okay, in implicit type conversion is an automatic type of conversion by compiler. Okay, for example, see integer x is equal to 10. The size of integer is 4 bytes and double y equal to x. Now this y is going to store the value of x and it occupies 8 bits. So integer means 4 bytes and double means 8 bytes. Okay. So system.out.println of y. We are going to print the value of y. So this is the larger size. The memory size is 8 bytes. Okay. So the compiler automatically convert the data type of the resultant variable. Okay, the user cannot change any variable type, but the compiler is automatically changing the type. Okay, x is an integer variable and y is a double variable, so it integer occupies 4 bytes and double occupies 8 bytes, so the priority is for the double, so it can display the output in the double format, that is print. Double means with decimal value. Okay, 10.0, 10.0 means this is also a decimal value, so it print the output as a double data type. Okay, next is explicit type conversion. Explicit type conversion, also known as typecasting, is a type conversion by the user. Okay, so in implicit type conversion, the conversion is automatically done by the compiler. Here in explicit type conversion, the conversion is done by the user. Okay, this explicit type conversion is otherwise called as typecasting. For example, see, double, the data type of x is double. Double, x is equal to 10.5, it occupies 8 bytes. An integer y equal to x. So double is having the higher priority because it occupies 8 bytes. Okay. Now it is asking to display the output in integer, that is 4 bytes. So when the code is compiled, executed, it raises an compilation error. So error will come because the double occupies 8 bytes. Okay, so the 8 bytes double value is narrowed by 4 bytes integer value, so it raises an error. So we explicitly typecast it. Okay, double x is equal to 10.5, then you write int y equal to integer of x. Okay, first we are going to convert this double x into integer. This is called as typecasting. This conversion is done by the user. We want the result in integer, so we are converting the double data type as integer. Okay, this is called explicit type conversion. So the difference between implicit and explicit type conversion is, in implicit type conversion, the conversion is automated by the compiler, and explicit type conversion, the type conversion is by the user.